taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
Woo-doo! Build your own house. It's a new year. It's 2021. Welcome to the No PC show. It is Thursday night. Sorry, we had a few technical difficulties. Been trying to play around with this software, this YouTube studio, and it's just sometimes it's just a hot mess. But we gonna do what it does, and keep it pushing. For the people on the Facebook side, sometimes you can come over to the YouTube side. We put a link in there, and in that link you can see any of the things we put up. You know, sometimes we'll put up an exhibit, or we'll be talking about a certain thing, and we'll have that as one of the exhibits. But you can't see it on the Facebook side. So there's a link. If you click that link, it should take you right over. If you haven't clicked and subscribe, please click and subscribe, and click that notification where you can join in with us whenever we're at, and from your phone or whatever. It's not too many extra clicks, just 1 or 2 clicks. Probably show not going to be too long tonight because of the time that we've already missed. But let's talk about it. You know, let's talk about the nonsense of the past week, and not so much the nonsense of the past week, but the reaction of the past week with some of these government elected officials. Like I always tell people, the politicians don't care nothing about you. They're more worried about what's going to happen to their political careers than what's going to happen to you or me. We saw basically an attack on the White House. We saw there's a lot of terms being thrown around, such as sedition. And these are some of the things that they want to try to charge Donald Trump with. And it just appears like no matter what he does, the Republicans, I'll just start calling them the rape Republicans, because they don't give a damn what happens to anyone that's getting screwed over here. And after so many people's lives were put in danger and 6 lives were lost, they still voted to side with Donald Trump. There were 10 that had the courage to say no, we can't. Then they had all this talk of all these Republicans standing up like, look, what's the point in further dividing the country? What are you talking about? You people just sat here for 4 years and supported a devil, a demigod. And everything he did that was divisive, disrespectful, and otherwise, you support it. That's what the divide is. Don't get up and say this is a witch hunt. Well, he didn't do. You can charge him with something afterward. No, they were trying to play the long game because they knew very well if Donald Trump was impeached a second time, he would not be eligible to run for president again. And that's all they wanted, an opportunity to seize power again because they don't have nothing else. So he has been impeached a second time. There will be a trial. Some would like trying to say, well, it's not enough time. No, doesn't make a difference. Just like regular crimes, you commit a crime, there's no time limit. You're going to get your day in court. Donald Trump will have his day in court. He can't stand up there and say, I didn't do sedition. When sedition is conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or a monarch. If anybody said and watched the speech, that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what his son did. That's exactly what Juliana did. And the other statesmen, they all did it. He comes out yesterday with this ridiculous, I'm sure he didn't write it himself. That's one thing I'm sure of, that he did not write the speech itself because the wording didn't even sound like anything he would say or do. So he's trying to do some damage control himself, and that's not going to work. But they're still on TV right now. They've been showing pictures of the Capitol and all the work that they're doing and all the threats and all the FBI. They're investigating possible inside interference that took place because these people knew the offices of the people they were looking for. And that's the thing. What if they would have found somebody and killed them? And people are acting like these 6 lives didn't matter. 2 of them were, I think, officers, and the other 4 were knuckleheads. And I'm not going to feel sorry for any of the knuckleheads that decided that was a good idea. They're trying to say, well, we didn't try to overthrow the government. Yeah, you did. We're Americans. No, I saw more Trump flags than American flags. And for all these people to come out, CNN had a good documentary on called The 24 Hours That Shook America. And it shows how Donald Trump was not taking anybody's phone calls, that he was actually seeing this thing happen, left Pence hanging, kind of put him out there like those people were chanting, hang Pence, hang Pence. Called the man all types of pussies, but I'm not shocked at none of that because that's what Donald Trump does. That's his MO of how he conducts himself. So he shouldn't be shocked, but then you think that would be enough, and it wasn't enough because Pence turned right back around and said he's not going to invoke the 25th Amendment, which didn't stop anybody. He made the statement to Pence, you're going to be a politician or you're going to be a pussy. It's just amazing what these people will put up with. And even a lot of us, a lot of black people that support Trump, I have no idea. They'll try to give you all these excuses. And I say, excuse me, Trump inherited a bad economy. Is that what you're saying? Trump didn't inherit an economy that was already growing from Obama, who came in and saved the country. He ain't really done for black folks, but saved the country, bailed out the country. Yeah, so and so, but there's no buts. You inherited a good economy. Most Republican presidents inherit a good economy from a Democratic president. If you don't believe me, go back and look at it. Look at the records. Look at when Clinton was in office and left, and there was a surplus of money that was given out to all the states. But then the Republicans get in, and, I guess their biggest thing is, well, it's too many social programs. Okay, y'all steal too much money. In order for you to have any type of society, there are going to have to be some social programs. Is it harder for you to steal, or is that just more money you want to steal in your Republican base? Well, we freed you guys. Freed who? Oh, yeah, Lincoln was a Republican. That's the same Republican that said, if I could unite the country without freeing the slaves, I would. That's your great president. That doesn't sound great to me. And now we're asking, what's the asks for Black America? January 20th, okay, we can get past all the hoopla now. What's the ask? What are our expectations? Because time and time again, we don't get nothing because we don't ask for anything. We just assume these people are going to treat you right. And we just saw 74 million people vote for a man who has no morals. I always say somebody's got some type of moral thing, but he doesn't. He has shown the immorality of his soul and is bled into the country, and we probably looking real crazy around the world. And people might be thinking America's weak right now. This is the time to attack America because they got an idiot running around doing all types of stuff, not being reprimanded for it. Well, he's learned his lesson. It's like one of the senators said, well, it's like a kid that put his hand on the hot stove and now he's learned his lesson and he won't do that anymore. Are you crazy? When has that stopped him? He's only got emboldened each time. He told those people, hey, I love you. Then he came and said, there are a lot of people that agree with what I said. Does this sound like a remorseful man? No. Does this sound like a man that give a damn, that feels any type of way other than the election was stolen from, which it wasn't? The bottom line with him, and then he's pardoning all his cronies that went along with his nonsense. What's his plan? Why worry about it? I'm going to pardon you. I'm waiting to see if he's going to try to pardon himself, which everybody's advising him against. But this dude doesn't listen to anybody, so he may try it. He's totally invested in the 48 laws of power, so he's not going to admit defeat. He's going to say, no, I didn't lose. It was stolen. Because you don't admit defeat in the 48 laws of power. What is that? That's not powerful, admitting defeat. You use all the people you can use, and when they're no more use to you, you throw them to the side. If they're not going to do your bidding, like he said, as he talked to the people, if Biden cannot do what I want, even though Biden had no constitutional rights to do what he wanted him to throw out the election, which is just insanity in itself. But in power only concedes to power. So you got to have some type of power to overthrow power. And the people that are in power don't care how they get the power. They only want to stay in power. So he got all these hooplas, and I want everybody to understand what he did do for us. And let's get down Trump some thanks for exposing the 74 million racist folks in the world that follow behind him. Racism came to the very boiling point, the top of in America, and with all these people getting captured here, CEOs of corporations, Army veterans, all these people following behind him, and they're not going to get in real time. I looked it up, and they'll probably get, hey, Kathy, they'll probably get a year at most for all the stuff they did. They'll probably get a year at most. Wouldn't happen that way with us, and we already know that. But they already said, for unlawfully taking a position in destroying property, you may get a fine and up to a year imprisonment, which is going to mean absolutely none to them, because now they feel empowered. Now, just like Trump, nothing happened. Nothing serious enough to make us change, so why would we change? Trump has to be punished. They even came up with, well, maybe Biden will consider pardoning Trump when he takes office if Trump just comes out and says, okay, I did some bad things. No. This dude needs a severe penalty. And whatever that looks like, I don't think he's going to jail. I think basically just keeping him from ever holding any type of political office, which it's a shame that the presidency of the United States was the first office that this man ever held. How ridiculous is that? There was an old clip where he said, I would never run for president because I would win. And then somebody put out this clip showing this is the reason to elect Donald Trump. And I pointed out to him, if you look at your video, all the presidents you pointed to were Republican presidents that were screwing up. So your argument was that the Republican Party needed a leadership, and Donald Trump was going to come in and provide that leadership. And he basically came over and took that party, and now it's the party of Trump. Or as I like to call it now, the party of chumps. Because this man has talked about people's kids, talked about their spouses, talked about them. He has no respect for anybody. Yet people are constantly saying, well, he didn't mean that. No, hell yeah, no, he did mean that. What do you mean he didn't mean that? Are you people crazy? He said it, he did it, he acted upon it. There was an article out just showing all the things he did. He had to sign more, what do they call these, all these executive orders every day for like the first year. It seemed like he was signing some order. He's like, I'm the president, I have the right to do this. And a lot of people get confused, like, oh, well, he did this for the black colleges. And no, then he tried to sue the black colleges. Well, he donated this money. No, then if you look down in the bill, you'll see that he tried to use the black bill to allocate other funds to other areas, just hiding stuff in other agendas. He closed over 160 civil rights offices. He had the DOJ investigating black colleges for admissions, trying to find something to defund them. Broke a lot of treaties and things like that because he said they weren't good, and maybe they weren't good. Maybe America just doesn't make products that people want. Talked about Obama like a dog all the time. Nobody disagreed. because according to them, Obama didn't do anything. When I clearly saw him do all the bidding of America. He got Hussein. He got Saddam Hussein. He got Gaddafi. He got Bin Laden. He broke down the Middle East, where now by destroying these leaders, you basically made that area unstable again. And then the same people that supposedly operated in the 911 incidents, the people from Saudi Arabia, he formed a treaty with them. Because there's no stopping this dude. But yet we continue to say how great he is, what he has done. There was a gentleman came in my shop the other day. I believe he's an Army veteran. Had his coat on and everything. And I was like, what has he done for you, brother? Help me to understand what was so bad that Obama did that you're giving Trump all this praise for. Hey, Dorian says, called them all white supremacists. He called the white supremacists very fine people. Yeah. Just like all those people out there riding, hey, I love you. I don't know what the moral code is for people, but I don't give a damn what you're doing if you're immoral. The devil cannot convince me to be on his side because I already know what the devil's about and what the devil does. But for some reason, people are willing to overlook bad behavior for capital gain. And we all know the road to hell is paved with money and good intentions. Yeah, my 401k went up too. Great, terrific. I'm not feeling more American because it went up. My money's out there. You're spending my money and making money with my money. But you're also creating a system that keeps me and my children in a pseudo prison slavery state in this country, where the black communities, which are mostly segregated communities, and let's explain that. What's the difference between a segregated community and a separated community? The Chinatown areas that you see in every state are called separated communities because they control the politics of that community and they pretty much control all the business. Not pretty much, they control all the businesses in Chinatowns throughout America. They are self-contained. We are segregated because most of our communities are based on money we get from the government. We don't control anything. Most of the politicians that are put in positions they are just puppets. They don't do the things that need to be done for you to have any control in your community. And your government supplements it with crazy stuff like neighborhood opportunity funds that you gonna qualify for, but Abib and everybody else that jumps off the boat who can barely speak English qualifies for these loans. A neighborhood opportunity fund, they'll tell you, we'll give you $250,000 to open a business in an urban blighted area. Basically, our neighborhoods. And everybody gets these, you see Habib this, Big Salim, all these different little places. Get these places, talk crazy to you. Because they're coming from war-torn countries, so they used to the ignorance. So they roll with it. And they hire a few people from the community that's supposed to make it okay. And then when we have a riot, those are the stores that don't get any damage to them because they're sitting out there with guns. Because all they've been wanting to do all along is wait for an opportunity to shoot you in your black ass. But we don't see this because all we want to do is get along and kumbaya. Dorian Carter says during the riots, all the white people were there, but if black people there were being shot and killed, yeah, basically, they were fanning up. I'll tell you a story. I was at the Trayvon Martin rally, and this is how people get sent off. So I'm at the Trayvon Martin rally. You know, we're listening to the speeches. You know, right on, Power to the People, MC Light, all the people were there. I'll probably post some of those on the page one day. And so after the speeches and everything, Kathy says, talk about people with disabilities. Well, Trump talked about people with disabilities too. He talked about veterans. Anything that was taboo, he talked about. So as we're leaving this Trayvon Martin rally, there's a group of white people, and they got some signs, and they're trying to urge people, come on this way, yeah, let's go, let's march, let's do this, and do this. That's what we have with a lot of the Black Lives Matter thing. I don't know if a lot of people know it, but Black Lives Matter was started and is financially backed by white folks. Okay. It still has its purpose. It still can be useful. So we're not going down it for that, but sometimes these people will send you off for their own political things and circumvent your things. Sometimes we got to believe that it just needs to be us. Well, we can't get nothing if it's just us. Okay. If we never build nothing, like at the beginning of the show, we constantly talking about Malcolm wanted you to build your own. Dr. King, whose birthday is tomorrow, January 15th, is Dr. King's official birthday. He came to the realization, and God bless his heart for everything he did for us and for what he got done for us. But at the end, he also realized that we were dealing with moral monsters, because all they kept telling you to do is wait and wait and wait. And James Baldwin had, you can probably find out on the internet, he had an interesting video about time. And constantly what they would tell the people back then was, we need a little more time. And he said, wait a minute. So you've had my time, my parents' time, my grandparents' time, and my great-grandparents' time. How much time do you need to see me as an equal in this country? And the answer is they'll never do it. At least 74 million people won't do it, because they have this stigma that black people are lazy, don't want to work, don't want to get educated, which is a complete lie. But that's the fallacy. Just like I said, during the Obama era, was the worst 8 years of my life, not because of Obama so much, but because of the racism that has started to simmer and boil throughout corporate America. And they start strategically getting rid of black people, moving white people around to different positions, and then saying, no, this isn't a racist move. This is so and so. There's a philosophy now that in the next 50 years, America will be mostly brown. They call it the browning of America, and that there's a fear out there that we will want to get in power and do to them as they did to us, and when that is not even the case. Black people are always just wanting to live in harmony. Regardless of everything that we went through, we was willing to forget a lot of this stuff and move on. But then you showed us that Trump was a direct response to Obama. And I remember the day I'm watching TV, And Obama says, this is before Trump got elected, and it was a comedy show or something. He was like, well, at least I was elected president, and you will never be elected president. And from what I know and have learned about white folks and the behavior, I said, oh, no, man, you just told these people that this white man that looks like them, that has been raised like them and has been conditioned like them, can't be the president. You act like these yahoos ain't been sitting around on the farm waiting for a chance to stick it to us. And Donald Trump provided that thing. Oh, well, Hillary Clinton and the Benghazi attacks, and America is full of political crap that happens all the time. And it's not just one person. It's your whole Congress that votes on all this nonsense that goes on, all these wars and invasions and the selling of drugs and the selling of weapons and destroying countries and destroying peoples. That is us out there perpetrating among the world. So don't tell me about people, what they're doing in other countries when you're doing it to us right here in this country. It's totally ridiculous. And you get all these people, hey, praise the Lord for you people that went to war and fought for this country and came back and got kicked right in your ass again. My grandfather shared the story with me. He was in World War II. And he said, we're out here fighting for this country, and they still had the nerve to try to segregate us and treat us like second-class citizens. And when we got back here, they treated us just like they called us before, niggers. But he'll still put on his veteran hat. He was in World War I. Thank God he made it through. He told me, he said, I can never work for these people. So maybe I've been tarnished by the experiences of my ancestors, my grandparents and my great-grandparents that I was raised under, that told me the true nature of what it meant to be black in America during the Jim Crow eras, the lynching eras, that all these type of things that they lived through. And that's a disservice that we don't do to our kids anymore, because we want to kumbaya everything. We don't want to talk about the treacheries of slavery. Well, the women were raped. No, men were raped too, and the children were raped. Beating, killing was an everyday thing in slavery. So let's stop sugarcoating it. All they want us to do is sugarcoat it. Oh, forget about that. Just like they're saying, forget about Trump. All they ever tell us to do. That was so long ago. We had nothing to do with that. I didn't benefit from that. I came over on a boat, and you got beat in the head, right? No, I came over on a boat, and I went to the community where my people at, and then they came in and raided your community and beat you and took all your stuff, right? No, well, I worked hard, and then they lynched your daddy and your mama, right? No, well, but we worked hard. Yeah, we worked hard too. I don't sit around here and say I'm an American. That word, it doesn't even pass my lips. I have a shop, and you know what flag's not in my shop? An American flag. And why would it be? Why should it be? I got a part of my poem, they want me to be a nigga, that says, I pledge allegiance to the un-United States of America, where they destroyed my life and destroyed my character, where a nigga was all I could ever be. Look at me, look at me. This nigga just trying to get free. I got that poem, and I read it, and I wrote it over 20 years ago, like 1999. Because I'm in corporate America, and I'm dealing with these people. And I felt like maybe they could morally have something, but they didn't. 1983, I'm on the campus of Illinois State University. I don't know how it happened. My floor had 49 white guys and me. And I tried to play along with these people and be cool, go out, have some beers, all this, young college stuff. And then the day comes, I'm walking down the hall, and they're all sitting in the lounge, and they don't know I'm around because I walk soft. Oh, them niggas over there at Waterson Tower, and nigga this and I could have walked away from the room, and they would have never known. But that's not me. So I wanted to confront it. Oh, we niggas now. I tried to be cool, but now you've given me the power to be free. Because constantly in this world, we're forced to cow down, hold our hat in our hand, put on the tap shoes, and say we love the place that destroys us. And I'm not talking about individually, because I don't think individually when I'm talking about what's going on with us here in America. That's bull crap. Individually, anybody can go out here and be successful as you want to be in America. You can do it. Yes, you can. You have freedoms here that you don't have in other parts of the world. Yes, you do. But if I'm constantly watching you eat a whole pie, and all I get is the crumbs out of that pan after you're done with it, that's not living to me. So we got to get from the part of constantly being in a survival mode and get to a living mode. And that's why we constantly are going to keep talking about this 50-year plan to move back to Africa. I think next week I'm going to introduce the whole 50-year plan because I talk about it enough, just like I did the Village Report on how to take back our communities years ago, and then other people started talking the same stuff. I'm not a prophet or anything like that. I just do what I do, and I wake up black. And sometimes I wake up, Maya Angelou says, if you're black in America and you're not waking up with some type of compassion for your people and the angst and pains of what it means to be black in America, then you might need to look in the mirror a little deeper. You may have to find some humility for your people, and we're not perfect, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in black communities and stuff like that. My story is in the midst of a black community, and there's constantly something going on, maybe a crime or two here, something this and something this, because we've been taught to destroy ourselves. Another line in my poem says, self-destruction taught by the destructional teacher. We're in the fields and they're in the bleachers. They're watching the things that they put in place to make you an animal. In the Willie Lynch letter, it says, all the things that we have done to put this in place to make them hate each other, it would take a paradigm shift for them to break all these systems that we put in place. And I tell people all the time, you can't help black people if you don't love black people. That's period. And sometimes you're going to have to love them through their ignorance, because people don't get this. We love white people through their ignorance all the time, but we can't do it for ourselves. Think about that. But what they do, we don't call that ignorance. We don't call that shameful behavior. Why not? In a way, it's more shameful and destructive than what you have right at your doorstep. Now, a lot of places in the neighborhood where you go to, they got up plexiglass and all this type of stuff. I don't have any plexiglass or anything like that. I'm not going to sit around and be scared of my people. Some people say, well, you need a gun in this area. No, I'm not going to have a gun. I'm going to talk to people. And for the most part, I believe most of the people are good people. I get a lot of comments about, wow, it's great to have a black man with a business in a black neighborhood. I said, but guess what? There were people that told me I couldn't have a business in the neighborhood. And I said, wait a minute. So the Arab dude, the Asian, the Pakistani, and everybody can have a business except the black man. And these were black people that told me this. Like they tell me, you can't put black owned and operated on your advertisement. Why not? It's black owned and operated. See how the conditioner works? They want to constantly try to reinforce rules that they put in place to keep you in place. And that's not the way we should roll. That's not what we should accept. And I tell people all the time, what if we could put up a sign in the neighborhood and say, Blacktown? Everybody would be offended. But when you go to Little Italy, they got a sign. Chinatown got a sign. What's that area with the Hispanics? They got a big sign. But you as a black person, and that's what Mr. Chan told me. He said, I wish they would try to tell us that we can't support who we are. But understand the difference between us and them is they've got a whole country. Dorian says, I'm from Houston, and we always have Chinatown. There's Chinatowns throughout America. And guess what? Every business in Chinatown is Chinese. And don't nobody say nothing to them about it. Because that's the power in unity. On the Haiti flag, there's a saying, and it basically translates to strength in unity. And that's the one thing we can all agree on, that we don't have anything because we don't unify. And when we do unify, we unify in these different little groups. I'm probably a part of 3 or 4 different little groups right now. And everybody's doing this little piece and this little piece, but it doesn't work like that. Everybody's got to get on the boat together. But it's hard to do that because too many of us are struggling. Too many of us are complacent. And too many of us are on the other team. And we're going to have to address that internally so we can come up with the list of what's the ask for not Biden and Harris. What's the ask for America? Because now they definitely ain't going to give you no reparations. They'll be like, man, you see all this money we done spent on this pandemic? This is our perfect scapegoat. We ain't got to give y'all nothing. What we are going to give y'all is some vaccinations and some flags, and we want you to put your hand over your heart. Represent your country. Say how much you love us. And continue down that same road. Because if we see y'all acting any other way, we going to be on y'all ass. And it don't make a difference who in the White House. You in the Black House. Love, peace, soul. Y'all know how we do it all the time. We out of here.
Step out of the car. No, you don't have the right. Step out of the car. Do not have the right to do that. I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove you. I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out. You got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invest in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide. You a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder. Because they know you on that bullshit, they steady with them bull clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you want to. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.